done wrong here. So I think it was justice today.
Justice.
Justice, absolutely. From the beginning of this, I said that the state overcharged, especially on the felony murder with elder neglect as the underlying felony. There has to be a foreseeable cause that if this neglect happened, caused the felony murder. And in fact, I think that if Mr. Terrell would have never said, the only thing I did wrong was maybe I didn't call for help, I don't think the jury would have found him guilty. But there's so much with this case that just upset me from the beginning. For one, the fact that the detective stated in the warrant application that the defendant admitted to punching this man when he did not. And it upset me that that was never even brought up, that the fact that this is what you got the warrant on. This is probably the reason that Mr. Terrell sat in jail for 2 years with no bond when he has no history. That was absolutely ridiculous to me. So to me, the fact that the jury got it right was justice.
Carlos?
Well, that's why I think it's bittersweet. I agree with you, Chinwe. For 2 years.
Examiner. And they didn't believe the victim here.
But Vinnie, remember, the medical examiner did say there's a possibility something else could have happened. That is reasonable doubt, Vinnie. And
Let me read a direct quote from what he said here. Cause of death, blunt force trauma due to assault. They said there was no assault.
But if the medical examiner would not have known that there was an assault, would he have put that in his report? Remember, he was asked on the stand, could this have happened from a fall? And he said yes. So the jury took that and they listened and they believed that. And overall, they believed Mr. Terrell. And I don't think that it's not that the jury didn't believe Mr. Bennett. Remember, Mr. Bennett suffered from dementia. Remember, Mr. Bennett had fallen before.
Right, and every time he fell, he said he fell. He never made up some story about being beaten up.
But unfortunately, Mr. Bennett is not here. And then the prosecution.
Right, because he died.
But we don't know.
I mean,
there was no evidence of him making up stories.
There was Mr. Terrell's
the accused killer's interview?
Found not. So let's remember, exactly, he's innocent, not guilty, innocent.
He's still an accused killer.
But he is innocent of murder.
No, he's still an accused killer. He has felony murder hanging over his head tonight.
This is what we have the jury system for. The jury listened to the evidence. You had 12 people who found him not guilty of elder abuse, found him not guilty of felony murder, and you had one person who thought that he may have been guilty of the felony murder.
I'm trying to figure out why they...
Let's remember that Mr. Terrell at this point was not guilty. He is not a murderer. Yes, he's accused. He still has the felony murder.
He's an accused murderer tonight.
Of the felony murder under neglect. So,
which he's been found guilty of.
But I also still have a problem with the way prosecutors in Georgia charge felony murder. I knew, and I said this last week.
That's a 4-hour program.
I said this last week that the jurors would be confused on count one, and I was absolutely right. Because the way that they charged that was wrong from the start. And it doesn't surprise me that we got this verdict on count one. It does surprise me that we had 11 people who got it right and thought that there's no correlation here.
Yeah. Again, what's really